You should be able to see me in there, red, orange, and yellow guy. So what are we using this for? So Ross, you wanted to use this. Why do we want to use it?
Yeah, so you can see heat signatures.
Not heat. Ghosts aren't hot.
Cold.
Cold, right. We're looking for cold spots. So that is a thing. So again, I point out that I'm the red, orange, and yellow guy in there because if you're a bridal party, I would say I'm the hottest thing inside the video right now, and it usually works out pretty well. But I make that as a joke on purpose so we remember that you're actually looking for those blue and black areas to either to start moving or to take shape on their own. So when I say take shape, I want head, shoulders, moving arms and legs. Like that's what I'm looking for. There's also a blue dot that's bouncing around your screen. That blue dot is there to actually show you where the coldest spot is in the frame at that particular moment. I'm looking for 15-degree temperature drops. It's 81 degrees ambient for us tonight. Not that you guys needed a reminder of that, but I'm going to be looking for 66 degrees and colder out of that blue dot. There's also a center crosshair, so if Ross wants to measure something specific, he can just move the camera to make sure the crosshairs falls on that. It stays, pretty staple right in the center.
We were joking earlier today because it's so hot and humid. We're like, we do need some ghosts up in here. cool the room down.
I know, right? So now that you guys all have a basic gist of how to watch it, so Ross, this is your start and stop button. I'm going to stop it at this point. You got it. There are people going to the vehicle in the lot to your right, Ross, just so
Okay.
you know. And that's a name you don't hear every day, by the way.
It's my maiden name.
Is it?
Yeah.
So that's actually really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're recording. I will also tell you, maybe I should show you a little bit of this. These will pick up shadows. Your shadows in front of you or along the wall over there. So they'll make it look like a person is over there. So the reason why is because of the lack of light. These
So I'm supposed to be asking questions.
When the house, what happened to the house?
when I say
What did you grow in your garden?
heads and shoulders out of your camera, same thing when it goes to yours.
How old were you when you got married?
Did you just say that name?
So stop.
Couldn't see it.
She said my
I will
name.
screenshot it, break it up. If there's something there, we'll get both screenshots, the raw and the brightened version. So there are some nights
She
where
said stop and then she said bad.
we'll have like 10 shots from me, the things that I will call it in, and I would say the other half left it in. So there's a big pause there. But yeah, keep it recording the entire time we're in here.
No, I don't
Oh,
understand.
good boy.
Still there. So
What did you grow in your garden?
just showing you my point of view with that because it's so small.
Tell me if you said bad again.
When did you get married?
What happened to the house?
What happened to the house?
Ryan, what do you got?
Yeah, I heard some, a woman asked the question, but I don't know.
75.
You don't have to use this job out here. It's okay. Hey, child, come help me. And have them with their earbud. Because again, even though they're both staring at screens and slaves, they can do and help you out. Sure, it's almost like a news light. You're recording.
He goes, you. Listen, Mom. Every word is like repeated.
What are you guys getting out of yours?
There's definitely
We got-
noise, but I can't
I
tell
heard-
exactly what
I
it's.
heard two words. I heard bad and stop.
Bad and stop.
I didn't really hear
Like
that.
the Michael Jackson song.
Okay.
Remember? It was one of that.
Okay. So he's hearing song lyrics.
Yeah.
Which is, he recognizes that part of the song, which is perfectly fine because that's what we're going after. So just so you kind of have an inkling of thought, because it seems like you kind of have a good gist of like watching the TV shows and YouTubers. Those things that they show you on there, where it's like it says leave and get out, like that is not a thing. I do not accept that as things being heard. In the event that we have two different people telling me two different things that are similar, like you said leave and you said get out, and you didn't know together, then I'm like, okay, we have verification. They don't want us here. We're gonna go. But you know, teenagers love all the time. They said I'm gonna die. No, we did not. You're fine. It was a radio guy who was trying to sell you a car. Like it was a Toyota. Come on, you're not gonna die.
So I think I need better coaching on like the types of questions, or like, am I supposed to be thinking the questions, or am I thinking?
However, whatever you're comfortable with. So some people they're not comfortable with talking to somebody that they clearly cannot see.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, Miss Briley had somebody going by her. That's where it goes up to 43, like what she had, and it immediately goes down to like 1 and 2. Yeah. Because again, there's no fault in man-made objects.
Yeah. I'm okay with speaking out loud.
But speaking out loud, that's a record. So I mean,
Okay.
can you please tell me what happened to you? Okay. I mean, like, very respectful, plain language. Most of the people when I'm trying to contact them in the 1700s do not know lingo like device. It's, I use the term box and lights. You come to the box, you go right back. Obviously, you try to so to them, it's just box. They don't know. Again, I know I've been working in spaces for years. Listen, they're supposed to be teaching me something about them. So I'm not there for that. But at the same time, your device, because it does what it does, very small spurts, 1 to 2 syllables, bad stop, always an extra stop.
Okay.
So even when, I mean, it's not like Eliza doesn't know I'm here. I'm here 7 nights a week or something.
She knows you.
Right.
Yeah.
So my name shows up all the time in all of these things.
Yeah.
So, and I really lost it. So that's over the past few weeks. And I noticed more and more as, so it's just, she was just like, it's not like she didn't know what I did for nothing. She was just insulted for what I do out there. So she's just like, bring out what I have to see. Yeah, that's how you're going to ask questions. The last something. Kind of see where I'm going with this. Neither one of those, like, they're very vague. Like, a conversation pieces. I mean, something, throw it away. I don't need it. Unless it's part of the conversation. Like, hey, Eliza, are you happy today? I suppose. Like, that would be part of the conversation piece. But I'm still, I can't verify it.
And this will record what I'm saying.
That doesn't bring anything. Like, it's recording audio.
Okay.
So that way you guys can kind of work together.
Got it.
Like, yeah, see those times that you did it.
Yeah.
And what I was going to do is very busy, like, street areas.
Yep.
So kind of keep that in mind. It'll get easier as we move along.
Okay.
But yeah, that's why you want to stay close to
Hey
me.
Ross, you gotta stay close to me. 'Cause
All right.
you're gonna record my audio.
Yep.
I heard.
Well, you guys are going to be using it.
Yeah, we can both ask questions.
Ooh.
So he said to introduce ourselves.
All
So
right.
like, hi Miss Eliza, this is Michelle,
Hello, Miss Eliza. This is Ross.
and we want to know what happened to your mansion. What happened to your house? What did you grow in your garden? I really like gardening. I grow vegetables. What did you grow?
Hello, Miss Eliza. What did you say?
Feel free to intervene. Like, as long as you continue your party, like, friends, hearing that, while flipping around.
Will do.
What happened to your house? How old were you when you got married?
He's fine. Change. Will it go? More.
Ask another question. Oh. How old was your husband when you got married? What color was your house?
Where did you live, Miss Eliza?
What happened to your house?
Wake up?
So right in the middle of where your TV is.
Is there something about a fire?
Maybe. Ask him how. What got? I'm gonna.
You guys got anything over there?
What happened to her house?
I'm not telling you yet. What did you get?
I
thought we heard something about a fire.
It was indeed a fire.
Okay.
All right.
How you feel?
What?
So how do you feel?
A little goosebumpy?
What makes it goosebumpy is when you get part of the date.
Okay.
So that kind of verifies it.
So when
When did that occur?
Miss Eliza, when did your house burn down?
And that can show up on Brian's device too. So now that you asked the question, he's obviously listening for numbers right now. Waiting to see if it's going to come up either way. Brian hasn't heard anything.
Okay. Miss Eliza, can you please let us know when your house burned down?
Part of it.
Can you tell us the rest of the year?
$85?
If you heard 85, I'm going to write it down.
No.
Eliza, you want to give us the rest of the date? Of the great fire that destroyed your house? Not easy, is it? 'Cause you never know when it's going to come in.
Right.
You got nothing else going on. I'm go ahead and wrap this one up. Just the day is very busy in here. I know, and we're kind of getting to the point of what you guys see, how we kind of piece this together. So I'm going to break out the tablet and kind of go over all the answers. Obviously, we got all the way up to a 54, I believe it was, or 51. So I'm pretty stoked about that. And you had a popular ghost tour stop in this. Like, I'm surprised on a Saturday night we're the only ones down here. Like, and it was like this last night as well. I don't know, like I said, that plane thing that went on this week. So I don't know if you guys all drove in. Sorry, you can recognize that. Sounds like a spirit box. Oh, you're good. But you can now see how big a normal ghost tour is, just so you know. And they're well over 20 feet right now. I really want to be a jerk, I would turn it in.
Oh, they're actually limited.
20 people.
They belong to Chicken Ear.
What?
Him.
Oh.
The little girl.
But anyway, so we all tell the same story down here. I tell it obviously way different because of what we're doing. Ghost hunting, and if you guys have taken a ghost tour in Charleston even 8 years ago, you probably heard this one already.
I've been here.
Yep, I'm sure you have. And it does get a little bit warmer down here, so I'll be like, what we're looking for here, by the way, is we're not going to spread out like what we did over there. I know we didn't really spread out, but we're looking for bleed over. So at the next location, we may get our clues on the communication devices and other pieces from here. The reason why is because I've actually been kicked out of here before, and we're going to talk about that because that's the fun part of the story. And you're like, please don't tell my kids how the hell you got in trouble, but at the same time, time. That's actually the funny part of the story. This is Philadelphia Alley. So it used to be called Dueler's Alley. Which, by the way, I'm sorry, I didn't ask. Did you hear anything on your spirit box along the way here?
Yeah, a couple songs, but nothing to see.
Okay, couldn't make out any words at all?
There was Having a Good Night.
Okay. Which everybody at the market was.
Yeah. I'll think of it.
Okay.
I was listening.
Well, we got a very clear disorganized the minute we walked in.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
We
it was
were all
very
kind of
clear.
far away
Yeah,
from
I
each
heard
other
three or
then
four
too.
things that were it's not that clear. Clear was kind of in the market.
Yeah, it's just not okay. All right, so Dueler's Alley. This is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. I say some of them because dueling was illegal and they had to find a hiding spot. This happened to be one of them. So we all tell the same story of the same duel. Let's get into it. There's a doctor that moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. And Brian's going to continue to listen to his spirit box while we're here, and he gets the song Brown Eyed Girl. It's not coincidence. It's part of his name, and we get it all the time. So if that kind of gives you an idea of what you're listening for here. But anyway, he moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. She has an attorney helping her out with all of the cash. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money. He tells Amanda to get rid of the doctor. So Dr. Ladd comes to Charleston to prove that he's not just after her cash. As he's coming into town, the coachman set him up to be robbed and killed. It wasn't a good start to his stay here. But somebody was walking by and seeing what was about to happen. He was somewhat of a local. His name was Ralph Isaacs. I stop on Ralph because Ralph has the same initials as where the doctor came from. Rhode Island, Ralph Isaacs. We get the letters R.I. like somebody spelling something out all the time. I don't want to say all the time. I would say probably 8 or 9, 10 times a year. So I wanted to verify that. I do have a Ouija board electronic device in my bag. It's called an Envoy that only gives you letters. So I wanted that device specifically for this location. That was the one device I wasn't giving you for sure, since you said don't give me anything that's going to freak me out. But what's nice about it is it will spell out words for us from the ghosts. So it's really cool. But we have gotten the initials R.I. here as I'm telling Ralph's part of the story. But anyway, back to Ralph. He tells the doctor, dude, you don't want to stay here. I know this guy. He's got a gunman inside. He's going to try to kill you. He's like, come with me to 59 Church Street. You can rent a room from some friends of mine and you'll be safe and good to go. The doctor took him up on the offer. They became friends. The longer the doctor stays in Charleston, the more money he's making. He's proving his point that he wasn't just after Amanda's money. So, Amanda gets wind of this. She's moving down, and he gets wind of that. Now, he becomes known as the Whistling Doctor. Just so you know, like that's. And by the way, every haunted city you're ever going to visit in the future has a cliched whistling ghost. We all have one. Ours just happens to be a doctor. But getting back to Ralph and Dr. Ladd, they're really friends, but they go some place together. They're not sitting next to each other with Dr. Ladd. So that's just the way that hierarchy works in Charleston. They talk about this place on the way home. They went to go see Richard III one night, and on their way home, they're arguing over the new actress that was here in town. Dr. Ladd thought she was great. Ralph didn't. It turns into an argument. Ralph is now insulting the doctor's fiancée, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island. They go their separate ways after it gets really ugly. Ralph has friends in town. He goes to see his friends in the newspaper. He puts an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society kind of mentality. Slap with a glove. Yeah, it's the 1700s. That was the thing. But anyway, the doctor saw the ad. But regardless, let's go to Dueler's Alley. Let's settle this. Keep in mind, this whole argument started over an actress that they don't even know. Let's point that out. So they came down. They took their 10 paces away from each other. They turned. The doctor points his gun in the air and he shoots. He didn't want to kill his friend. He just wanted to have the courage and bravery to show up to the fight. But Ralph gives his one bullet and his flintlock. He puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. Dr. Ladd drops to the ground. He doesn't die, but Ralph proved his point that he's not willing to forgive and he's still pissed off. The doctor's friends took him back home to 59 Church Street, and he refuses medical treatment for 10 days and then dies on November 2nd of 1786. So why did he refuse medical treatment? First off, the guy's a doctor. It's 1786. Gunshot wounds are a lot different back then than they were now. He probably just refused it so he was trying to bleed out the lead poisoning for himself. So every tour that comes down here will tell you, listen for the whistles while you're here. The cool thing is, we're running 2 video cameras right now, plus my voice recorder. If we're going to have whistles, you don't have to do it on your own. We have help, right? So there's one thing. On our spirit boxes, even the recorded one, we've had the word whistle and then the doctor show up. Or we've heard the whistling part of the song, like Guns N' Roses' Patience, the Moves Like Jagger song. These are just whistling parts of songs that we're getting at them. And the cicadas don't count, by the way. That's not whistling. Yeah, those are cicadas.
Oh, there's a rat.
Oh, that's Remy. We're in his house. He will come in. Yeah. And white or gray? Was he floating?
No, he's just running.
But obviously I gave you a lot of very specific clues about the doctor. Obviously anything medicinal in terms is going to work. But I'm going to need a secondary clue like Brown isn't obviously a thing that we can get from any of your spirit boxes. His name was Joseph. His fiancee Amanda. 59 is a prominent number. There are other things I'm not telling you. I wait to see if you're going to hear them before I explain them, if that makes sense. So here's how I got kicked out of here. Here's the fun part before we leave the space. The alley didn't go all the way through this way. There was actually the wall of Charlestown was on Cumberland Street. So Charlestown used to be a walled city. We're now inside the walled city. So that means there was another partition between us and Cumberland, which is where the wall would have been. So that partition was blocking all the livestock that was kept here. This used to be called Cow Alley. So kind of keep that in mind. What does that mean? It means the bricks on the other side of this alley by Queen Street are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child down there and fingerprints swipes off to the left. Of course, you guys picked up on all about history and data-driven, so thank you for pointing that out. But I used to take my groups down there just to show it off, simply because we all need to see how far we've come from slavery. I don't care what color you are, we all need to see it. However, I treat that brick the same way you do a grade. That's the last place you're going to find that kid. I'm not going to get any activity out of it. So, November 26th, 2020, my entire group of 10 is huddled around that damn brick, waiting for something to happen on the devices that I gave them. I'm trying to shoo them along because it's also outside the kitchen window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. I'm just trying to be respectful, not realizing I'm out of bounds for tourists. Take note of where that tour stopped. That's about as far as we're allowed to go. So the new owner of that mansion came out while we were out there, and I'm trying to push my group along, and he's screaming. My daughter thought it was great because she was on the tour that night, and her dad's getting yelled at. She's all about it. So the next day was Thanksgiving. I don't do tours on Thanksgiving simply because I worked in retail management for Walmart, upper management, by the way, for a good portion of my retail career of 20 years. I've never worked on Thanksgiving a day in my life. Again. So with that, the next day I called my partner that I had at the time where I was learning tourism from, because obviously I got out of retail to do this. But I told him what happened. He said, you can't go down that far. You only have to go down halfway. So either take them down halfway or reroute the group. So I decided that night I'm going to reroute the group. I told my group that night, I don't believe in the next story because I've never had anything happen there. I'm a vampire guy, not a pirate person. Obviously we're discussing pirates next. So obviously you guys seen the pirate walking by. It's not the one we're hunting down. Just so you know. But again, I'm just not, because it wasn't into pirates like that. So before we left the space, somebody hears the name Anne on a spirit box. I didn't tell them who we were going to be looking into next. So the famous female pirate on. So I was like, all right, maybe we will this. I didn't have pirates at the time, and somebody else was the number 300. I don't know if it's in the right album or doing the research. Turns out the date that we were there was at the same date. And on the crowd of piracy, we were there on the exact 300th anniversary of the pirate trial. So you guys are all like, oh, that's kind of cool. Or I get the jaw drop, like, oh shit. For me, it's a, oh, here's the problem I have with pirates, and I'll explain why. I have a master's degree in creative writing. I need even facts and data when I'm writing a fiction story. The problem with pirates is pirate stories are based off of pirate lore. So we're basing realism off of fiction, if that makes sense. Because the first piece of pirates that was ever written, besides Captain's Log, were written over 100 years after the events actually occurred. There's no accuracy. So I read more damn books on pirates trying to debunk and prove everything that we're about to go through. Worst case scenario, you're going to learn a crap ton of things about pirates that you didn't know before. Because again, Anne's story is pretty detailed. But the other piece is, it is also a hit or miss location. It's either we're going to have a lot going on or nothing going on. That's just kind of space it is. Sorry, I'm down here every night. I named him. I had to. But it is a weird location. We will stay out of the way of the other tours, but we will be able to spread out once we're there. The gate behind me before we leave, I know it's super hot down here, but this part is quick. Remember I told you that the alley didn't go all the way through this way? This is also going to show you how I piece everything together. So, in the event there was a loser to the duels we've already talked about, this was the shortcuts to get to the cemetery on the other side of the wall that you guys are all staring at to the right here. Otherwise, they'd have to go all the way down to Queen Street and double back to be able to drop the dead body off at the cemetery before celebrating with a winner. And not to mention, dead weight is dead weight. Like, this was the shortcut. I call it the Death Gate. The wrought iron probably wasn't put here until the early 1900s, but you can definitely see that the archway was part of the original wall. So I just like to point that out because not many people know why it's actually there. I just find it very fascinating, especially considering what we do, especially with tours. So sometimes I'll get things like gate and death all at the same time. So I think that's actually how I came up with the name Death Gate. But we are going to exit the same way we came in, and then we're going to go up and around the corner. For those of you with video cameras, if you want to keep them running, that's fine because we're going to get out of the way.
You're crazy.
Come on, Ross, we're going to get you back to work, buddy.
All right.
So what do you do for a living if you're
I work. I'm a retirement plan consultant, so a lot of compliance.
Gotcha. Very detailed
That's the
documents.
data. Yes, very detailed. Lots of backup.
Data organization.
Yeah.
Which is the name of the game. For
I went to school for chemical engineering, so lots of spreadsheets.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah, I'm not disorganized.
The ghosts called you disorganized.
So my
That's
wife
something
thinks I'm
else.
disorganized, but I can tell you to the penny how many, dollars I made from each reseller of my tickets and all of those things because I have all of my spreadsheets.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep track of everything. So I normally look up your guys' area codes because I have that as a spreadsheet as well.
Oh yeah.
So that way I know where my marketing used to go. I just didn't do it today because my wife and I were listening to something else, but she was actually off today. So I kind of took advantage of it, and I sent my text to you guys, and I was like, all right, laptop shut. And I spent time with the wife before I go to work.
Good. Should I turn this on again?
You can. Yeah, definitely as we're walking. Sorry, I know we kind of jumped right into conversation. But I can talk and listen to that at the same time if you just want that.
I can see how it does take training.
It takes a lot of training. Normally, if I get called to another paranormal team, it's because of what I'm able to do with those. I just don't know how people are traveling with 4th of July falling on a Tuesday.
Yeah, I have to take Monday off work.
Hey, you guys switching it all up? I figured you were doing a switcheroo back there. Everett!
What was that saying? What was that word?
I don't know. Is it Boo?
We are at a 97% full moon tonight.
Does that make a difference?
I'm pointing out pictures for you tourists.
Oh.
So with it nearly being a full moon, it's at 97% tonight. Anybody that wanted to take a picture, like, that's a perfect opportune time. If everybody wants to stop and take a quick picture before we get started. Again, but yeah, if you guys want to talk moon phases first, we can do that because that's a thing.
Equipment. Oh.
Spoons?
Are you taking pictures of your device?
Is that allowed?
Who cares? It's your night. Like,
That'd be fun. Yeah.
So, you actually asked about, by the way, who's got the spirit box now? So did you guys hear anything along the way here? All right, so you,
I heard clear when we were coming out of the alleyway.
clear.
Clear.
I don't know. Well, I got nothing on that. I'm still going to write it down just in case something pops up about it.
I heard I'm tired of this.
Are you?
No, that's what I heard. Well, I want to switch back. What'd she say? What'd she say?
She said, I heard I'm tired of
What's
this.
funny is when I first started doing this, I thought females, no offense, but females tend to talk a lot more than the gentlemen that come to see me. And I figured like my chatty Cathy's would do really well with the spirit boxes. It turns out men actually listen way better to when it's static in the radio than they do to their wives. So I started to notice that's why I actually went with Brian tonight because I was like, we'll kind of see how this goes. Which by the way, have I screwed up anybody's name yet? I think I've gotten you all down pretty good. So go ahead and mute that for me if you don't mind. So she did ask me, like, does moon phase make a difference? I told you that was a 97% moon. Obviously, I keep track of that for investigation. Funny thing is, my next podcast is actually on a moon study. I took 110 investigations, and I pitted them against each other because I did create a rating system to see how active every single night was. And I kind of did some spreadsheets, like we just talked about, and really kind of gauged it. So the top half, the top 25%, and then the top 10 out of those 110, it is not a full moon. It's almost the complete opposite of a full moon. So I know that there's a lot of studies out there that say, you know, the paramedics and your community service workers will all say the crazies come out because they have more ambulance runs, they have more people in the hospital, so forth and so on. But it is a waning crescent moon, so just before a new moon, and the other condition of that is it has to be in perigee orbit. So what does that mean? It has to be the closest to the Earth. So the closer the moon is to the Earth in its orbit, along with the waning crescent, is usually when we're going to have that spike for the month. So it's almost like I can predict when we're going to have the most active nights. So us being at a 97% at a waxing gibbous moon, we're not there yet. So we're literally on the exact opposite of when that would actually be. So we're actually about 14 to 15 days away from our next active date that I'm predicting at this point. So, but
Picking the wrong day.
I know, right? But again, if I start, like, it'll be the next podcast episode I've been working on for months. Oh my God, it's correct. But yeah, it's very interesting. But she did ask.
What's your podcast name?
Heard inactive.
I haven't been very active with it. It's been about a year since I published an episode. That's why I've been taking my time with this one to make sure it was right. So anyway, every tour that comes over here, we're in the back because they like to cut through. So as you can see, they're talking about the little tiny building up there. We're also going to discuss it, but we're looking at that building in a much different light because they're talking about the architecture of it, the history of it, so forth and so on. That's the Gunpowder magazine. It's a museum now, so if you ever need to spend $5 to get out of our heat or cold, that's a great $5 to spend. I'm not an advocate for the building, but I am infatuated with its architecture, which we're not going to discuss. We're here to look at those crosses on there. Those are not crosses. Those are earthquake bolts. If you don't know what earthquake bolts are, they're turnbuckles. If we have another earthquake, like what I've already mentioned, then you can tighten them. And it's supposed to tighten the building up so it doesn't incur any further damage. So the great thing, like the reason I bring them up, by the way, is because those don't work. Earthquake bolts are not a thing. Like, they're a thing here in Charleston, but the theory of it is awesome. It just doesn't work. It's not going to keep the building together. That's crazy talk. And Californians laugh their asses off at me every time I bring this up, just so you know. But the reason I bring this up specifically is because that's part of the reason why we're here. Those are the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston ever put in. Even the apartment building behind it, by the way, has earthquake bolts. You can see them from here. It's the peach squares and the bricks. So those are also earthquake bolts. And you may have also seen them around town in lion heads and pineapples and all kinds of Charleston charm bullshit. So, sorry to disgrade my own city, but that's what it is. But with those, that's the first set they put in, and you can see how crude they are. And the reason that I point them out is because that's the oldest government building in South Carolina. So that's why those were the first set that they ever put in. That's their first government building. Held gunpowder for 7 different wars. So we're here because that building was being constructed, at the same time that Anne Bonny was coming here to start a new life. It's a familiar. You guys all watch the TV shows and YouTubers? They use that Boo Buddy teddy bear to attract the child ghost, right? It's the same principle. That child will recognize the Boo Bear as a teddy bear. It's a toy. It's something recognizable. We don't have any buildings this old. Anne Bonny is said to be seen here along with many other places. So again, this is along the route of where we're allowed to be, so to kind of get my point of why I got booted out of the alley. So the building took 10 years to build. That's one major fact you do need to know about it because our history begins right in the middle of it, which, by the way, 10 years for a small building, does that sound like our government? No, not at all. I'll answer for you. But anyway, 1708, follow me. There's a lot of twists in here. I'll slow down on the twists, and then we will spread out and kind of see what we can get from Miss Anne. By the way, if you get anything above that 2.5 back here, I'm going to be stoked. So I'll be super excited. I won't be Zach Bagan stoked, but I'll be stoked. So yes, that is a phrase. I made it up. But anyway, 1708, a young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormac. She comes here with her father and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. Is everybody with me so far? Okay, the 3 of them are running away from her father's angry wife. How pissed was she that she booted them out of the damn country to come here by boat for planes? So you should make the joke, guys, be nice to your lady. She's going to boot you out of the country. Might just be to Canada, but you still might have to leave. But anyway, so they land in Georgetown. That's between us and Myrtle Beach. So if you're not familiar with South Carolina, Dad bought a plantation up there. Mom dies pretty quickly. So that means Dad is now sending young Anne down here to sell anything from that plantation to help keep things afloat, hence the familiar building. So and back home in Ireland was said to be a badass even back then. At the age of 7, 8, 9 years old, remember it's pirate lore, nothing is exact, they say she killed a servant with a knife to the belly. Can't tell you how many times I've had more than 2 communication devices out, and we have servant, knife, belly coming out of 2 to 3 different devices, and the other 2 people don't know what's actually happening because it's all coming back to me. So take that for what it's worth. Fast forward. The building's done in 1713. Pirates are starting to come through town in 1715. So Anne's pretty stoked. Let me tell you why. She's going to earn her freedom and fall in love with one of these pirates because it's a man's world, and a woman doesn't get her freedom until she's basically a pirate. So, first guy she falls in love with. I said first because there's a handful. We're going to go through them. That's what makes this story interesting. I'll keep it PG-13. But anyway, so first guy is James Bond. You already see where this one's going, right? So the dad didn't approve. They ran away to Jamaica, got married, and Cormac is now Anne Bonny. However, they get down there and she realizes her new husband is not Captain Jack Sparrow like she was hoping for. This guy's a privateer. He's a spy for the British. So he's a coward in her eyes. This isn't who she wants. A few years go by and she falls in love again. Guy number 2. This is John Rackham. Everybody calls him Calico Jack. Jack has his, by the way, this is the guy they based your Johnny.
Hi Anne, my name's Michelle.
Hi, Anne. My name's Ross.
We're here to learn more about you. What city in Ireland were you born? Where were you born? What color was your hair?
Treats, thanks.
What happened to your child in Cuba?
Hi, Anne. What happened to your child in Cuba? The ghost lives. That was a weird one. Tell him, Mom.
96.
I'll write it down.
96?
Yep.
What was the name of your boat?
It sunk. $126. Now tell it. Tell him everything. You hear? 126 and it sunk.
Okay. What was the name of Captain Jack's boat?
Your camera in here
Yes.
will act up from time to time. So when I say act up, on at least 2 occasions that I can think of distinctly within the past 4 years. When I first started this, I didn't have like super large groups like what I have now. So that's normally a staple, and that red spirit box that Brian's using is a staple. That way you get as much data back as possible. However, the person using the thermal imaging camera was filming me and the person using Brian's spirit box, and a white film went over, we'll say Brian, and then their spirit box stopped working, like it shut off. So we got out of that little corner, and it didn't always just happen in the one corner. I think the other time was actually on maybe this side. Or
Same
maybe
thing happened?
Yeah, same exact thing. But just in a different area.
So stick over close to Brian?
Not necessarily, because you guys have a spirit box too. I'm just telling you to look for, you know what like white snow looks like from an old TV set?
Yes.
That's what it looked like. Just going over them. I was fine. But their spirit box, once we like walked out of that area, their spirit box turned on, and there was no change in the recording when I went back to go analyze it, and it was already recording when we walked out of that area.
This one said it sunk in 102.
I thought you said 126.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I can't remember that
So
one.
anytime you guys give me numbers like that 96, 126, I look at them as dates. So what's 12/6? What's September 6th?
Okay.
What's the year 96? So
Can you
okay,
tell me
we'll
what?
take a 2.8 for sure. That was something.
Just said, can you tell me what?
And you heard sunk, and then what was the other one?
Can you tell me what?
Can you tell me what? Yeah, even those little spikes that she gets are exciting here.
We
'cause
can
it's not
tell
the
you,
same
but
nation site for sure.
You need to ask us again. I don't know what you said.
Was it?
God, no.
But it kept flashing back and forth. So it kept different things.
It's not gonna work.
Ann, can you ask us again? What was the name of the boat? Of Captain Jack's boat?
Let's go back over there. Let's go by the house. No, you have to tell him.
What color was your hair?
I don't know why you're so nervous to tell him what you do. That was Firework. That song was Firework. Red.
Can you tell us about you?
Oh, just finish the question. Just talk.
I'm listening. Tell us about your...
You have to tell the guy everything you do. Which you're not doing? I'm getting like nervous about it.
What part of the song was it, though? It was the song Firework.
Because baby, you're a... And then,
Because baby, you're a...
and then half of the word firework. Fire. Because baby, you're a...
What was the name of your boat? Of Captain Jack's boat?
I'm not very good. Hello, Anne. What was Captain Jack's boat called?
Mary just heard target the ship, and then you guys heard it sunk.
Yep.
So
And we heard part of the song Firework by Katy Perry.
okay.
It said, baby, you're a fire. And then it cut out. It's like just that one little bit.
It's funny, as we left here last night, the person heard, I think it was from that, no, it was from the illustrator box. They heard, this girl is on fire. So,
Okay.
A theme.
Fire.
there was definitely
Some sort of...
a female theme going on. So we get a lot of female gender phrases, like, he said this, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just a lot of female gender type stuff. Especially with that creepy tree in the back.
I've turned it up a bit.
Oh, anytime.
Anytime. What color was your hair?
Oh my god, stop asking the same question. Anne, what happened to your child? Hello, Anne. May I ask what happened to your child? Over here. It seems to be getting colder. I think I'm supposed to keep you in the frame. Go ahead.
And what happened in Cuba? What happened in Cuba, Anne?
Did you hear that? It said fly.
I think it said love.
Love happened with you. Wait, because she was pregnant when she was on the stage. Mom, stay back.
I'm trying to record
It can hear you.
the audio.
It
okay?
can hear you. I'm trying to keep you in frame.
What happened in Cuba, Anne? born in Ireland.
Hello, Anne. Where are you from? Where?
Where are you from?
Keep walking. I know why you stop every time you hear. Every time you hear something.
Double.
What are you doing? Keep moving. Keep moving.
Where were you born, Anne?
Keep going.
Do you want to ask questions?
No. I want to zip down real quick.
Okay.
Just go somewhere. No, just go out there so I can keep you
You
in.
have to record this point.
And I need to keep.
2020.
Okay, I need to keep you in frame. It's not gonna stop hearing you.
Tell me more about your child. What was your child's name? Hi, Anne. What was your child's name?
Alright, what do we got going on with you guys?
Okay. That Aerosmith song, Sweet Child of Mine, played twice. Little snippets of it.
That's not Aerosmith, that's Guns N' Roses.
Okay, it was definitely that song. I'm bad at knowing artists.
Sorry,
Um,
former musician.
yeah. The number 2020.
Okay.
At one point, the word double was very clear. And then, anytime.
I'm getting a bunch of like lines down and a bunch of little like white like static, but like at the back. Did you see?
Talking about like your lines down here in the ground?
No, it's like all the way across sometimes, but see, there's like little white circles and stuff in the back. Is that normal?
Yeah, I mean, you got a lot of your lights back there. It's always going to try to put a white outline on things.
Alright.
All right, let's head over to the wall, kind of gather up everything and see what's going on.
Hey.
What do you know? Ask her about Jamaica. Ask her about Cuba. No, Jamaica.
Was it Jamaica or Cuba?
What? No, that doesn't make any sense.
Were you in Jamaica?
Ask her what it was like in Jamaica.
What was it like in Jamaica? Ian, what was it like in Jamaica?
Retrieve.
I think we heard the word retrieve.
Vague, but yeah, I get it. I was waiting for another number to show up with when you gave me the word double. That's why I kind of leaned down, like, please give me the number. And I'll explain why in just a second. Well, actually, I can do that one easy. Normally, we get double sevens here.
Oh.
The reason why is because Dr. Ladd's birthday is July 7th, and it is coming up. So double 7 is the birthday. So we get the number 7 here a lot, but it's relative in one of 3 ways. Obviously, the doctor's birthday. Your 7th vice president is buried on the other side of that wall. That's John Calhoun. And the Powder Magazine served in 7 different wars and 1 rebellion. So again, you can see where I would look for that secondary clue of like either president, the name John, or military, militant, French, Indian, any of the wars that it actually served in. To kind of get my point. But the double 7 is an indicator automatically straight from the doctor. Because we will hear 7 one time, and somebody else will hear the number 7, so I have my doubles. But you gave me the word double, so I got excited. So this is another reason why I give that heated warning at the top of the night, by the way. Let me quickly explain. Back about a year and a half ago, it was the month of September. I took my group to the back like I always do, probably a group of 8 or 9. The kid next to me starts to drop. When I say kid, he's probably 21, 22 years old. He's fainting. Like, he's passing out on us, and it's way cooler than where we are now. So really no reason for him to faint, but I had to pick him up by his armpit so he didn't hit his head on the ground. He's dropping quick. His boyfriend picked him up from the other side of him, and we brought him over here, right about where Ross is sitting. So he starts feeling better because I got him a bottle of water from the vending machine and the whole 9. And then I told him the history. This used to be the last stop. And so after I was done with the history of Anne Bonny, I told everybody, go spread out, have your fun, last hurrah. And then these 2 guys pulled me aside. Nick, we have to tell you, we are 2 transgender males, 2 females dressed like males on the tour, just like Anne and Mary in the story. So it's explainable, but it's not. If it makes sense, like, kind of get the gist of why I give these. This is just the weird shit that I see that I can't explain, but it does happen. Psychics and mediums normally won't make it past the Thinking Mansion site, especially if I give them a spirit box with earbuds. It's too many pieces of communication. You're already getting your own. They don't need a secondary electronic piece in their ear on top of it. It's too much for them to handle. I can't tell you how many times I make sure, like, that's why I have you guys show up early. I want a good gist of who am I working with, and get the sense that anybody was psychic for medium here, because you were like, what the hell did we sign up for? And I'm like, all right, she's not horrible. So I kind of got my, that's why I asked you, like, you guys watch the show? Saturday nights. Let's cover the answers. I'm actually pretty excited to show you Callie Injection.
People have interest in it for some reason, they're going to cash in on that one way or another. They've got to get the streets paved and install plumbing everywhere.